This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
The biggest icon in podcasting.
Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Doc and Jock. It's gonna be a good one. You will not regret hitting the download button on this week's episode. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. Joining me, my cousin Adam, the Jock Strozinski. We were just talking before we started recording about
Hold on. Does anybody ever regret hitting the download button or the subscribe button to this podcast? If so, I want to know.
Absolutely not.
Message us.
No, because numbers are up, that we've been around. The numbers for SIL Lions, all the podcasts, your 2 and 3 podcasts, they are amazing. I just am astonished that
I want to know who these asshats are who are upset that they're downloading our stuff. Why are you upset?
Man, I can't believe the internet hasn't kicked us off yet. The internet's found ways to kick way lesser people than us, and we're still at it, so I absolutely love it. But we were talking, and I think we'll start here because you're tasked with organizing a fantasy league, and I can't wait to ask you. But we were just talking, shit is disorganized with people. What's wrong with leadership? It feels like this. If you know what the telephone game was, when you were a kid, they would teach you the importance of listening. And what it meant was you would whisper something in someone's ear, and then when it got to the fifth person, it would be like completely different. In America in 2020, it's like the first person you talk to, you say, hey, I need this. And then they come back with something totally different and said, you said that. And I said, no, I didn't. And I can't wait to ask you because you're going to be organizing a fantasy football draft for the family in one of the weirdest years ever. But I just went down Wednesday, when we're recording this, I went down prior to Ford Field, okay? And I get told, go here. Okay, no problem. I get there, and so what I got to do is I got to fill out, I got an app, I got to fill out the COVID questionnaire. Have you had this, and this? So I'm just like, no. Obviously, I've had no COVID symptoms. They check me, and basically, it's a self-report, which I guess is okay, no problem. But then, I walk in, and then all of a sudden, my bag's in security. They take my bag, and all of a sudden, the guy goes, hey, did you check in? I said, they let me through. What do you mean, did I check in? I said, the guy took my temperature. I did the COVID scan right through that door there. And he's like, no, did you talk to the other guy to sign in? I said, your guy sent me here. What do you mean, did I sign in? So I look back, and thankfully, 2 other media members got the same question. No, I walked in, and there's a security guard to my left, and there's a dude looking down, no eye contact, in the window. So obviously, I go to the guy with the thermometer. Common sense. I get to security, and I said, I didn't think he liked my sarcasm. I said, you better triple check me, no problem. He said, are you on the list? I said, yeah, I'm almost certain I'm on the list. I'm with Sports Illustrated. That's what I said. And he's like, huh? And I said, yeah, I'm media. And, he sends me back, and then I go through, and luckily, he goes back through, and he's like, he goes to the guy with the thermometer. Are you having him sign in anywhere? He's like, no. And then he walks back, and it's like, come on. It's like the organization needs to be tighter in this world. I can't believe how messages get across that way to get stuff done. It's like, and it really, I hate to say it, but most of this starts with security guards. They don't know their ass from the hole in the wall. Can we just raise the level of people? Like, you just got to take a simple test that says you got an IQ of like 75. Because I'm almost certain that security guards way overthink things or they don't understand. It's like, okay, if I took my temperature, okay, they don't do like second level thinking. If I took my temperature, that means I did the app. He asked me, did you do the app inside? I said, yes. So why would you let me through stage 1 if I was some jabroni with a backpack? You just think a jabroni with a backpack is just going to go get his temperature checked with a mask on, with a backpack, and stand there in front of you. I mean, come on, use some common sense. Now, I know, it looks like me and you want to triple check, but come on. I made it through step 1. Don't go back and make me go through it again and ask stupid questions. Because then you know what happens? I go, was I supposed to talk to the guy with the window? He wasn't looking at me. I don't want to sign my name. I don't want to, I'm on the list. I know I'm on the list. So it's just, that's the part because it makes you question, like, did I take the right step? Am I doing everything right? And it's just one of those things that it happens to me so often that I'm numb to it, that when I experience it, I just become sarcastic and stupid. And luckily, it was a straightforward process after I got through security. But man, we got to raise the level of security guards right away. It is horrible.
I mean, it sounds like they were trying to secure things. It just wanted to make sure you didn't have COVID, bro.
I don't have COVID. I mean, and actually that part I don't like because it's just a self-questionnaire. I mean, literally,
I know. Hey, look, I got to do it at work for all of my employees.
No, ultimately, no.
Right. I'm bringing them all back tomorrow, and I'm going to have to sit there with 15 of them as they come in. Take their temperature, fill this paper out. Take their temperature, fill this paperwork out. And, it's a self-reported test, so, they could all just say no, and it would be whatever. There was a day where I felt like absolute crap at work.
Right.
And, one of those questions should have been a hell yeah.
Right.
But I was like, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not down with that. When you leave it up to self-reporting, somebody's coming in there with a situation. And it's I know I had a question too. I asked Dave Burkett. I said the same thing, and I'm going to blow the whistle on it. I said, Dave, are you mad about what's going on with your app? You put this shit behind a paywall, okay? But 6 hours ago, I read it for free because on another link that you guys posted, it showed up. He's like, he looked at me like, God damn it, you idiot. I said straight up, I said, this is off the record, but of course I'm going to tell.
Of course.
I'm like,
look at you.
Is this shit I thought they were doing it on purpose for a minute. I'm like, are they just giving a sample so that I want to read it? But it's like the tech people are releasing that shit for free. And it's not a secret. Everybody that clicked on it on Wednesday morning got it for free. But then when he posted it 5 hours later, it was behind a paywall. He's like, they're working on it and things like that. So, okay, they're not doing anything nefarious. But, if you're doing something behind a paywall, I'd say, Dave, you should be pissed. Come on, you're doing good work. Insider access, all this work. But a jabron like me just picked it up and read it. I'm like, get with the tech people. I almost said, get with the tech people and figure that shit out. Look, I've seen tweets about it, so that's why it's not really confidential. Other people have said, I'm reading your articles that you guys are saying are behind a paywall. All you do is click on it twice, it shows up. I'm like, what's up with these stupid ass tech people? It's like, if you want, it's no problem. I understand the need for paywalls and shit like that. Hell, I can release it now. SI's doing the same thing. Everybody's doing it. PFF does it. ESPN Plus. Everybody does it. There's a reason why. But if you put it behind a paywall and then a jabron like me clicks on it and it's right there, what the hell's going on? You're costing yourself that $1 that you're asking from me. It's funny too. They lowered the price to $1, and I laughed because I said, dude, we were asking for $1 back in 2013. Now the papers are doing it, and it was $1 a month. Now, if you got the Labor Day sale, you got it for 3 months for $1, which we took it. We of course we took advantage of. So, Oh my God, people! It just feels like from point A to point B, it's such a grind nowadays. It's just like, I don't know. People don't want to follow directions. They don't want to listen. They don't care. So that's why, to segue into our fantasy, I said, look, cuz, you said you want to debate Sunday. I said, cut that debate shit out because we're going to be debating for 3 hours.
There's no debating.
There's no debating. Cut that shit out because it won't work.
Let me put it to you like this, right? And this is how it has always been, right? I try to run this league where everybody has a voice, everybody has a say. But you know what I'm finding? It doesn't work. And it just creates more stress for me. It
never works, right?
And it just becomes a bigger frustration for me. Do you realize that this league frustrates the absolute shit out of me? And it's not even, it's just more because a lot of it's just because it's family. Like with friends, you could just be like, you're an idiot, and you just move on, right? Like, how do you call your dad an idiot? And my dad will take it personal, and then he'll try to beat me up, and it's a bad look.
Right.
So you just can't do it. And then I've got uncles that are involved in this, and they don't know the first thing about anything, but they want to be a part of it.
Right.
So they're like, I'm not even going to be paying attention. I'm like, well, great. I just need you to focus for 2 hours. They're belligerently drunk. Just please, just give me 2 hours of just focus. That's all I'm asking for. And just don't try to double draft every other guy.
Right, pay attention.
We'll be okay.
Exactly. And I apologize. Like I said, I browsed the email. I'm like, okay, it's fantasy. We'll figure it out later.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes down to execute, I'm like, what are we doing here? And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta send him a message. He's gonna get mad. But I'm like, he's like, dude, I sent you the email. It was and Adam is very detailed. He takes the time. But I gotta be honest. I'm
way too detailed.
No, it's good. It's actually good because you can just go back and forward it. I'm just browsing through because look, right now, here's my emails. I got 40 emails today. SI, editing, videos, 20 spam, people asking this, that. So you just go through Adam Fantasy. Okay, good. And then you go on to the next thing and you don't give it that lockdown attention until you do it. So I think what you got to do with the email, the important stuff, make it all caps. So our eyes glance, because this is an ADD.
That way you see it.
Yeah, that way we see the part that's important, and maybe in the title, the important stuff, you bold it out so that it comes across, because there's so many emails that people got now. I started, up until 2017, I was good with my emails, 200 max the whole time. Now I'm at 1438 saved. You know, it's just, there's it is crazy. And so now how are we running this league, and what's going to go down?
Listen to this. So my girlfriend was like, you put too much time and too much energy into this. And I was like, no, you don't understand.
If I don't.
Just wait. You'll get to see on Saturday. Just wait. So when you meet her and you get to see her, just explain to her that it's all for good reasons. With COVID, I think what we're going to do is we don't have an IR. So I think we're going to build in an IR. So if a player gets COVID, you can move a player down and you can go get another player. And then if your player gets healthy again, you can move them back up.
Is this built in?
They'll be able to play.
Is this built in? Like you could have a couple extra players, or how's this going to work?
So you'll be able to have there'll be an IR designation. So like if a guy gets hurt or injured, you can, instead of just dropping them, you know how in the past you just have to drop them.
You have to cut them from your roster.
Exactly.
Now you can put them into another spot and they can stay on your team.
And they can stay there. Yes. And then that way you can also then move, you can go get another guy out of free agency then.
Perfect.
So I think we'll do one COVID spot to kind of compensate for that, or one IR spot. And then if he has COVID or if he blows his Achilles or blows his knee out, whatever, you can put him there.
Okay.
As far as the draft goes, so it sounds like 10 of us are going to be meeting. The other 2 are not. So it sounds like it's going to be half online, half in person. I don't know how this is going to work. I like, really and truly, I am kind of freewheeling and spitballing this. I don't know how the actual draft is going to work, and I'm really nervous about that because normally I have everything planned out. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I'm like, the day we show up, it'll be the first time I really am involved with this, and I really kind of understand what's going to happen. But I'm going to try to set it up to where we have it online for the people who aren't there, and we have it in person for the people who are there, and it'll all mesh together and work together. My fingers are crossed. I will do a couple test runs in a couple days, but right now it's kind of up in the air. So I'm just going to ask for a ton of patience from everybody because I have no idea.
Okay, now the nitty-gritty stuff that you got to be tasked with. And Adam's the commissioner to set the record straight. So what happens if we get through 12 weeks of fantasy and the league, the NFL, experiences a rash of COVID? How does a fantasy league work, and how do I get my money back?
So then,
because you jacked up the price, and like everything else, the price went up.
I've got trophies for you. Wait till you see these trophies we've got. We had some bootleg ass trophies if you ever won. Now we've got some real trophies, and I'm gonna bring them with us, and you'll see. And that's where that extra, what is it? I think it's like an extra
$20.
Is it an extra $20? It's like extra $18.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is you'll get your 25 back. The 18 goes towards paying for your part of the trophy.
Okay, so if the league doesn't finish, we get our entry fee in, and the trophy just carries on to the next year.
Yes.
So you won't just declare a winner after 12 weeks.
I don't think that's no, because I think you need playoffs.
Okay, so there's no
you know what I'm saying?
There's no abbreviated rules where if COVID ends the NFL, then we just stop where we're at. Okay, so that's good. That's a fair request.
Here's the thing: I didn't even think about that. So you bringing that up is I think a really good point. Originally, my thought process was the season would end, we just give everybody their money back, and we'd call it a day. But I don't know. How do you feel about having an abbreviated season? Would you be okay with that?
I don't think I would say that you set it at 10 weeks because 10 weeks of fantasy is pretty much a lot. I mean, because you got 3 more. You got 3. If you said if we play 10 weeks and we play 10 games and we match up against each other and the season ends, we're done. We just call it. Whoever had maybe you go by whoever has the most points for in the year. Whoever scored the most points wins it. If there's no playoffs, and then you go from there. If it's, I would say if it's less than 10 weeks, then potentially we all get our money back and we just never had a season.
Interesting.
But consider
something else. There'll be something else I have to consider.
Exactly.
I didn't even think about it. Like originally going into it, I was like, if you didn't do it, then we would just cancel it and you get your money back.
Yeah,
but I think I kind of like that.
Yeah, because 10 weeks is fun. You get a lot of action. It's because fantasy is only like 13 weeks. You miss out on 5. You still got more action into it. I still think NFL is going to go all the way. You might have like roster members 60 through 100 end up playing by the end of the year. But look, man, whatever they're doing, only one person as of this recording is on the COVID list. One. And that's with practices and things like that. They're taking it seriously. The money aspect, the insular nature of practice facilities, they're doing a good job, and thankfully so. We're at least going to see game 1, maybe. Troy Vincent had a conference call, and he threw it out there just kind of indiscreetly that if NFL athletes, they want to take it to the next level, they should just walk off game 1. And I was like, no, I don't want to read that. I know next week I might ask that question, but right now the game is scheduled for September 13th, and that is the date of Matt Patricia's birthday, his 46th birthday. Would his team do him like that and just walk off? I can't. I mean, the Lions did walk off of practice, but I'm curious. I hate to burst the bubble. The Lions and maybe others may consider it. It'd be a bold statement, but hopefully the cooler heads will prevail and they won't go, you know what, let's not boycott our own business. Typically, a boycott is when you have an issue with another company. You don't jack up your own partners, which would, really affect how they view you. So there's actually better ways to protest than to walk off the actual football field. But we shall see. Pay attention to that. But yeah, there's a lot of things you got to think about in terms of COVID. You got to also think about rosters and maybe more, because if the likely scenario is if one person on someone's roster gets COVID, there's an opportunity maybe for more. So maybe consider 2 or 3 IR spots just in case there's a rash of it. But I don't think so. I think the COVID thing, I really do believe that football is going to start, and that's a good thing. And I'm really happy that you're taking the reins. But I think the right thing to do is become more of a dictator and just say, I've come to this thing, and this is what we're going to do. And if there's something that you guys don't like from this year, we can talk about it in the off season. And I think that's where it should take place, maybe in the month of planning, is to say, hey, email me any concern that you may have that I will review, and make it more of, instead of a collaborative effort at the draft, make it a collaborative effort pre-meeting, like a pre-draft meeting, where all the owners get together and talk about the league business. Let's do it beforehand, so that way when we show up, you just say, this is what we're doing. This is our league. Let's just draft. Let's just eat. Let's just drink. And let's all just have some fun and figure this shit out. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. You know what? And look, here's the thing. I think if we do institute what you said about the 10-game rule, I think we'll refer to it as the John Macaroon rule.
Hell yeah. That's right. John's rule, baby. I love it. All right, cuz we got to talk about, I guess it's a good transition to talk about, because we're talking about COVID. The President of the United States wants Big Ten football. And I was shocked that Clay Travis was integral in connecting the Big Ten with the President of the United States. And we talked earlier, and I think it segues perfectly, about bad leadership. This Kevin Warren dude, I don't know if I've seen a worse leader in the history of leaders than this dude that canceled and organized this Big Ten meeting and things like that, where you're getting sued to basically put out information that said, did you actually have this meeting? The transparency that was lacking has really come to bite the Big Ten in the ass, where players and their family are suing Kevin Warren and the Big Ten. They want information. They want to know, how did you guys come to this decision? And I think if not a lot of information comes out, there's a small chance, I maybe give it 25%, that it was political. That maybe Gretchen Whitmer said, no, Whitmer said, we can't have it happen, and she maybe stepped in and did some things. But, those are all kind of conspiracy theories. They haven't been proven just yet. But what is embarrassing is that other conferences readily said they were moving forward. All this gentleman had to do was consult with them and just say, what are you guys looking at? Why are you guys going ahead? We're looking at this. And he's like, you guys are worried about the heart thing? That's one student. And look at all these other numbers. 6%, the CDC says that, hey, only 6% of the 180,000 people had COVID, which is less than 10,000. You know what that means? To clarify, that the other 94% of people that died of the 180,000 had something else, and they were older people. They had cancer. They might have had cancer and COVID, but they had other things that were more pressing that contributed to their passing. Only 6%. So the numbers indicate that if people pay attention, wear masks, and don't have COVID, then you can have the opportunity to play. All they had to do was wait. They just rushed to judgment, and they caused this big stir. And now the president is on board. And he's like, we need Big Ten football. And I also think that's political, too. He needs to say that, hey, it is all political. He needs to say that the country's operating. So he's like, if a couple hundred of these athletes get it, we could lose a couple. What's the big deal? We still got football. Life is good. So that's how we're operating, is both sides. Listen, if you're in the politics game, there is no right and wrong. It's just politics. It's just, what does the right believe? They're going to say X. What does the left believe? They're going to say Y. And it's just the same thing. The right's going to say, look, the lefties are scared. They want to hold you back. And the left's going to say, oh, big bad righty doesn't care. They want you to die. And there's there's nothing in between. So that's why this is quite hilarious at the highest levels, that we may even get Big Ten football in October, but it's just been a complicated mess that highlights what we've talked about. Leadership at its poorest has been highlighted in the Big Ten, in government, and in sports. To have it go like this, to have an NCAA where, Conference A can do whatever they want, Conference B can just cancel, Conference C can say, let's just play in February. That's not how this should go on any level.
Well, welcome to the NCAA. That's how they operate. They're an absolute dumpster fire. I think the thing that surprised me the most was that President Trump watches Big Ten football. I mean, you can watch anything else. You're going to watch Big Ten football? I mean, you want to watch Michigan get pile drove by Ohio State time in and time out? I mean, for real? I don't. I mean, Michigan State, do you guys even have enough players to field a team right now?
It would be embarrassing.
Who's your coach? Mel Ucker? What? What? I mean, come on.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Because you know what you just did? In a year, if he wins 3 games, he's going to be Mel Fucker. That's what it's going to be. It's just one of those things where, to give Michigan credit, which I don't like to do, a lot of rich ass people that probably give to the right side in the Republican Party probably have some tie to the University of Michigan. That's how he knows it. Always trace back to the money. And a lot of rich ass people went to Michigan, and you know that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So he's like, oh, you know what? President, make a call. Here's a couple hundred G's for your presidential nomination and your efforts. Thank you very much. Make the call and line your pockets with money. Did you see that report that Biden got like $300 million or like a huge amount of money in August in his campaign? I mean, the sheer number of dollars that are wasted on these stupid ads and stuff like that is crazy. So when you just follow the money, they need, and it's sad too, because you heard too that Michigan had to cut jobs. Networks are cutting jobs all over the place. Media outlets have to cut jobs. Canceling college football would, if they did it, would send a ripple effect that would be so devastating. I mean, poor college reporters have to talk about high school kids. They got to talk about former athletes. And they got to fill their coverage spots, and it's just going to be with fluff. And it's just an unbelievable nightmare, the manner in which the Big Ten handled it. It was among the worst. It was the worst way. All they had to do was wait 2 more weeks and not say anything. And in big time, I don't understand. Okay, when you start sniffing around and people want to hide stuff, that means something's getting covered up. I mean, just be transparent. Tomorrow we're going to vote to make a determination. Today we're voting. I mean, it's the age of social media. You got young people with sources. You got fans with sources. You got everybody that's got information about this. Just let everybody know your process along the way. What's the secret? I know that it's an important decision, but when you're tasked with making a decision for all the marbles and so many lives are affected, you got to be transparent. And that's why this guy, whoever's leading, the Big Ten, it's a disaster compared to where it was. And it's just unbelievable. I like I said, to the degree that there's poor leadership in the world, I'm thankful. I'm surprised that I'm thankful that I still get upset about it, because once we start accepting poor leadership, then this country's ruined, because I feel like leadership is not that far off from being able to be gained. You just got to listen, work with people. You got to be able to clearly state what you got to do, and you got to be transparent. But when you are like, we had a vote, And then sources say, well, no, you didn't. And then they say, well, yes, we did. And it's like, come on, man. You basically, long story short, it's way better to be out in front of a story than to be way behind it and having to get caught up. So what's your hope level, cuz? You think there's going to be Big Ten football?
Not until probably December.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
I don't see it still. I still don't see it.
Here's the thing. The Pac-12 came out and basically did the same thing at the same time that the Big Ten did. But the Pac-12 was like, hey, here's everything. Nothing to see here. We're good to go. The Big Ten's like, hey, look over here in my right hand. And wait, hold on. I'm doing stuff with my left hand now. You know what I'm saying? It just, again, you talked about bad leadership. And Kevin Warren is absolutely brutal at his job right now. I mean, the Big Ten has always had crappy commissioners. But Kevin Warren, I don't know if he survives this. And nor should he. He's been absolutely abysmal with this. I mean, the fact that President Trump's got to take time out of his day to come talk to you, and you got to have a meeting of leadership, and I'll let you fill in whatever adjective you want to put in front of that leadership, whether it be good or poor or whatever. But it's like, this is nuts, man. I don't know if we get Big Ten football. I don't know if we should have Big Ten football. This is one of those things where, and look, I'm going to take this to basically my everyday, all right? What you have going on with the Big Ten right now is kind of similar to what I'm dealing with at work. I've got a whole bunch of people that are high up that are just trying to like throw different things at the wall, see if they stick and see if they work. Instead of just taking a few minutes to kind of be like, all right, cool. Let's pause for a second. Let's see what the governor's going to say. Let's see what's going to happen. And then let's make a decision and do things properly. Let's act accordingly. Let's not be reactionary. Let's just kind of act with what the information is that we have, and let's go on with that. Instead, you've got a reactionary commissioner in the Big Ten. I've got a reactionary boss and higher-ups at my job, and we have a reactionary president, and everybody's just reacting to stuff, and nobody's actually sitting down, stopping, thinking, putting a plan together, and then executing. And that's kind of where we're at, and it's really, really unfortunate.
Yeah. Did you check out the Austin Peay game? Did you check out some of the college football that aired?
I did not.
No, me neither. I was kind of like, I'm not ready for it. Like mentally, I think just seeing it for the first time just kind of was like, okay, it happened. And so far so good with the testing. So look, it's just whatever, as long as it's backed by science, I think it would have been better to at least try it and then go from there and say, okay, what happens after the first couple weeks? And let's see what happens. And as long as there's some personal responsibility, and actually once the schools decided to let the students stay at home, you probably have more of an opportunity to stay safe. You kind of create a university bubble. You know, you guys can just kind of have your reign of the university. You guys can take this whole dorm. You know, there's 50 of you, there's 100 of you guys, 80 of you. Okay, a couple of you here, a couple of you here. Boom, boom. We can kind of isolate throughout and kind of create our own little mini bubble. So it's just college football, though, the ripple effect, though, 50% of Michigan's athletic budget out the door. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I was like, okay, maybe we got to do a GoFundMe for the University of Michigan. You know, Michigan's going to be hard up for money. And that's what it is that, you know, you can't discount the fact that tons and millions of dollars are being, you know, looked at and explored. So it's a devastating ripple effect if college football does not take place. And that's why the SEC is like, we're going for it. Let's see what happens. So stay tuned. It's still fluid. We still don't have exactly where it's at. It's still a story that has a ripple effect, and it's amazing. And I can't wait to see what comes from this lawsuit. All right, final topic. We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions and a couple very interesting things that came about. First and foremost, I know, cuz you're going to drop that $50 to buy a cutout, and we talked about it. The Lions announced it, but what they did was smart. They did it for the guise of charity, so that they're not profiting from it. It's not a money grab. Every penny that they get goes to local Detroit charities. Cause you could drop $1,000 and you can have your head next to Barry Sanders' fake plastic head at Ford Field in the end zone. You down for that? Is one of those charities Martha Ford's retirement fund? No, it's going to be...
See, that's a Detroit charity, right?
They got it listed where the money's going, so that's good.
Oh, okay.
$50 a game, or I think $1,500 or like...
Get the hell out of here. I'm not spending money on that crap.
No cutouts.
I have a hard enough time giving these clowns money for season tickets. Why am I going to give you money to put a cardboard cutout of me or whatever I want to put up there?
Absolutely.
I mean, if I want to put Daryl the dildo up there, I'm not paying you $50 bucks to do it. Get the hell out of here.
Absolutely. It's fine. They want to kind of create something there, and I see it's for charity, no problem. Big picture item now. Leonard Fournette became available, and we've talked about it. Stay tuned because I believe on Friday, former NFL scout will weigh in to let us know what his opinion was on Leonard Fournette. He cleared waivers, so you could go out there and get him for relatively cheap. Problem is he's got a personality problem, and he just forced his way out of Jacksonville. They couldn't get nothing for him. Nobody even considered making a trade offer because they knew that he would get waived, but he cleared waivers. So something's going down that's precluding Leonard Fournette from securing another job. And, of course, I'm scrolling Twitter, and what organization has a report out there that they're interested? Guess which one? Is it the Lions? No, they're going for the straight-laced kind of dudes. It's the Patriots. Come on. If the Patriots are interested, I think that's the part where people are like, John, why do you keep writing like get this person, get that person? Because it's supposed to be the Patriot way. The Patriot way was was had potential, played, had a name, they signed him. They don't like him, 2 weeks later, he's gone. Where is that here in Detroit? Why was that left off the list? I don't get it. Do the Patriot way. I mean, if you want to do it, bring in some guys and let's see what's going on. The biggest move, arguably, that Quinn made was getting Snacks, but he was a little bit, past his prime because 1 year later, he was done and he was ready to go. So
was that really Snacks or was that more of a scheme fit? I think that was a scheme fit because I think Snacks was really productive. He came in and he completely changed that defense first year.
But that was it. And it's what I'm saying is the Detroit Lions are not willing to go out and take risks on dudes that are like in their prime.
Does that surprise you though? That shouldn't surprise you. That's how this organization is.
But you got the Patriot way. You got the guys from the Patriots. They saw bringing in this guy and bringing in Moss and bringing in that guy. I want that part of it. I would say a tryout for Leonard Fournette. Okay, you tell me a backfield of Kerryon Johnson, Leonard Fournette, and DeAndre Swift wouldn't scare the shit out of opposing defenses?
Let me ask you this. So which one sounds better to you, right? Leonard Fournette, DeAndre Swift, Kerryon Johnson, or Kerryon Johnson, DeAndre Swift, Bo Scarborough. I don't know.
Come on, exactly.
You tell me.
Leonard Fournette.
I mean, I'm right there with you, man.
Leonard Fournette, absolutely. I mean, look, people act like if you try somebody out and it fails, it's a devastating thing with the cap and everything. Look, I know you're splurging and you're signing people left and right, but come on. Talent wins. And you can't tell me that Leonard Fournette would not come here if he comes here cheap and would with this offensive line potentially behind Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker and rookie Jonah Jackson, and you got a rush guy in Big V. There's an opportunity there. I just don't understand that part of it. But so you and I are on the same page. Make the call, Bob. It's okay. We won't get mad. Make the call. Taylor Decker signing. You like it? Big money. 6 years, $85 million. I think 37.5 guaranteed. I was opposed to it. I really was surprised. I mean, you hear whispers that, okay, Decker and Galladay were going to be the ones. I just would have did the whole wait and see and give him the same money at the end of the year. But they extended him before Galladay, which is surprising. Word on the street is Galladay's coming. Don't believe those that say they haven't talked. That would be quite ridiculous if you don't talk to Kenny Galladay by September 2nd. That's nonsense. That's spin. But I would say this. Decker's fine. I think he's past his injury stuff. I think he's a cornerstone piece. Is he top 5 in the league? No, he's obviously in top 10. He got paid to be the 8th highest at the moment. It's fine. It's what the market is. I just wish they would have found a creative way to keep him and Glasgow. When you go in the notion of you let Glasgow go and you say that we're not paying guards, it's kind of a tough sell. I know that Decker's good, but Glasgow was somebody that could have been coveted. And so we'll see now. I'm very curious. Pay attention to what the Broncos O-line does for that rushing attack, and let's pay attention to what the Lions do because they're going to start Joe Dahl. And that's a drastic downgrade from Graham Glasgow. Taylor Decker, it's fine. It's not huge money. Average of around 14 plus, a little bit more a season here till 2025. Him, Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, you're starting to build a nice offensive line potentially. I'm okay with it. The DOC gives it a thumbs up.
I was surprised by it. I thought for sure you'd take the wait and see approach. Look, Decker has been I think inconsistent is the word I'll use.
Yes.
He came on his first year, looked okay. Then he had to deal with some injuries. And I don't think he's ever really come back to where he was his rookie year. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a great player. And basically, to your point, I liked Graham Glasgow better than I liked Taylor Decker. So I'm a little bit surprised that they went and they did it, especially doing it before Kenny Golladay. I mean, I would figure that would be the one piece that you would be for sure to lock down immediately and not so much worry about Taylor Decker. So I was surprised by it. I mean, it's one of those things I think we'll have to wait and see if it was really worth the money, because at this point, I just don't know. I probably wouldn't have done it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's interesting the manner in which Bob Quinn is choosing to assemble this team. And he started to say, Matt Patricia, in the media session, that they're starting to build their foundation and they're starting to consider who those pieces are. And if you look at it, on paper, it's starting to look okay. Tracy Walker, Awarie, Okudah, Swift on offense. You're starting to see the makings of a foundation. Now they got to go out there on the field and produce. Last bit of news, probably the biggest news, and it kind of got slipped in there, but it was good. You know, I'm not really a fan of Sunday noon pressers, but they're fun. You get to put your profile picture. So I put a great Mustafa Makaroon picture up there where I'm wearing a mask that's kind of lit up like Mustafa Ali, and it's great. So they get to stare at that when I ask a question. But Cory Undlin was asked point blank, and he said that, Matt Patricia talked to him before the Sunday meeting, and he said, look, you're going to get asked, so just tell him the truth that, you're going to take over the play calls. And I think it's great. Now, it's great not because of how good we think Undlin's going to do, but it's like, okay, with Patricia and Pasqualoni, that mix was terrible. So let's get a new mix and see what happens. But then you saw the sheer responsibility that Matt Patricia claimed that he was going to do. In my opinion, I put out a couple of videos with my opinion at SI All Lions. I said that Matt Patricia's doing way too much. He wants to coach technique on the offensive line. He wants to look at this. He'll go over and talk to Bevel. It's like he's running around like with nothing to do. I think he needs to take a more measured approach in his head coaching, because he said he wanted to tackle 5 different things when he was asked. Like, he was asked point blank, well, what are you going to do now? He's like, I'll do this, I'll do that. I was like, oh, man, you're frenetic. You got ADD going on when you could just manage maybe the part of the game that you were the weakest at, which is game management and the defense. I would say, just look at the secondary. If you just did that all game, that would be awesome. Make your secondary cover people. Make your secondary figure out a way to make plays. Let Bev and let everyone else figure out the offense and things like that. But I'm okay with Undlin. I think he'll be more aggressive. I think you'll see steady progress in the secondary, in the defensive backfield. I think the one thing, though, that everybody out there that's in the listening audience, you got to pay attention to, they'll be more aggressive through blitzing, okay? They're not going to send roughly more than 3-4 people all the time. So they're going to count on more pressure from those like Danny Shelton, from the likes of Nick Williams, Jamie Collins, the Aquara brothers. And then they'll use timely blitzes when they feel the occasion's right, with Tracy Walker, with the likes of the cornerbacks. They'll time it with Jared Davis. They'll time it, and they'll blitz more. Will they get home? Will the pressure rate drastically increase? No. But I do think that they're going to call more blitzes in the hopes that they will actually get home and disrupt things. That's how this is predicated. They are going to run the same shit. That's the defense. They're dropping back. I hate to break the bubble, and I'm trying. I've tried every way maybe to ask, and he's using 1,000 words to escape it, but he believes in his defense, in the bend and don't break, make the key play late, yards don't matter, points do. And so if you're looking for a whole new defense, I'm sorry, that's not happening, and it's the fact. Right from inside Allen Park, I'm there. I'll tell it to you straight up. It's not a whole new defense. It's the same defense with the hopes of better execution, that when Darius Slay has a chance to make a play, they want Amani Awarie or Jeff Okudah to make that play late in games. What do the odds say? Should you be panicking? Oh, hell yes, you should. Because while on paper the expectation is that's what they want to do, will they execute it? 80-20, no. Absolutely not. They'll get torched. They'll make mistakes. They'll get hurt. They'll jack it all up. They'll make key mistakes. They'll take penalties. More of the same that you saw last year until they prove otherwise. That's how you have to look at it. Otherwise, you're being naive and a fanboy.
I mean, you said that they're going to blitz more. So if they just roll out 3 blitzes per game, you're already doing more than you did last year.
Right?
So that's cool. The one part that I'm going to take some contention with you on is regarding that secondary. So Cory Undlin was the Eagles secondary coach from 2015 to 2019. Let me just kick some stats your way, okay? Because I did some research for this. They were ranked 28th in passing yards against in 2015. By all accounts, they were an absolute garbage can set on fire of a defense. In 2016, Pro Football Focus ranked them 32nd of 32 teams that year. They also gave up the 6th most plays of 20-plus yards and the 3rd most plays of 40-plus yards down the field. So they were absolute trash. 2017, they got a little bit better. They were ranked 17th in passing yards against, and they were tied for 9th in the most 40-yard-plus pass yards downfield. Now, here's the thing. You think, okay, you go from the bottom and you're starting to build, you're getting a little bit better. 2018, they go right back to the bottom. They're ranked 29th in passing yards, and they had the 3rd most passing plays of 20-plus yards against. And then last year, I don't. You hear different things, but I know what my eyes told me, okay? Last year, their secondary was absolute trash. And look, secondary can get covered up by a lot of different things. You could have a good defensive line, makes your secondary look that much better. But what I seen last year was their secondary was absolute garbage. They ranked 19th in passing yards against. They forced 11 interceptions, okay? Detroit forced 7, so 4 more interceptions than Detroit, and they had the 2nd most passing plays of 40-plus yards down the field. I don't care who's trying to sell it to you. That defense last year in Philly with that secondary was baloney. It was a dumpster fire. All right, you think what you had here in Detroit was bad? You're bringing a guy over. Why do you think Jim Schwartz let this guy go? You're bringing a guy over here who is not very good at his job. And he's going to be now the one calling the plays for your defensive specialist, your defensive rocket scientist, who hasn't been very good in 2 years himself. I don't think it's going to get any better, guys. I'm just telling you how I see it. And what I've got here are facts to back it up. It looks like it is going to be a floating cesspool of shit. Okay. You know, you go to Twitter and you find that GIF of the dumpster that's got fire coming out of it and it's floating down what I'm assuming is Katrina. That's what you're going to have for your defense.
Oh, boy. Game 1, man. Foles or Trubisky, whoever it may be, get yourself ready. Get yourself ready, because if they mess up, game 1.
Can you imagine if you have those 2 clowns picking you apart? Like I know Foles has won a Super Bowl, right? I get it. But Foles isn't a very good quarterback, and Trubisky is not a very good quarterback either. Could you imagine if these guys come into Detroit and they just slice through you like a hot knife through butter? Ugh, make me want to throw up.
Oh, man, could you imagine? Oh, I can't wait. It's getting closer, cuz. September 13th, next week. Stay tuned to DocNJock, a credentialed media member. I'm there. I'm covering the team. I have the inside scoop. I'll fill you in. No secrets. I let everybody know what's going on. So it's a great opportunity to cover an NFL team. So far, so good. And I just have to always take a pause and show appreciation. Past 1 year at SI, so far, so good. Looks like year 2 is a go. The podcast is doing great. Everything is really enjoyable in the sports media world. And I do have to also look, when young people see the medium of podcasting and they want to take it to the next level, when I heard the news that Mike Sullivan, the former producer of The Ticket, and Kyle Bogey partnered up, they figured out, wow, podcasting is great. It can be used to market our business. We can fill in a niche market. They did it perfectly, and they found their love of broadcasting through golf. And they've launched a podcast, and Mike Villani and Drew and Mike, whatever our part was in it, to see what has happened with it, it's taken off. And you and I are sitting back going, yeah, we knew this 7 years ago. We knew the medium was great. I mean, it's a Wednesday evening after I covered the Lions practice, and the one thing at the time when it was time to hit record, I was like, I can't wait to talk to my cousin. I can't wait to hear about this. I can't wait to ask him about this, because it's free-flowing. There's no clock. There's no jabroni telling me I can say this or not say that. I can cuss whenever I want to, and it's just so freeing. So when young people are coming in and taking whatever has been established in podcasting and taking it to great heights and beyond is amazing. It's amazing that we took a chance on a medium and we knew it would be legit and viable. And when people come to SI All Lions, the site that's behind it is called the Detroit Sports Podcast with John McAroon and Adam Strozinski. And to say that is I'm so proud, and I just love putting hashtag, and I'm annoying the crap out of them because every time they post something, I just put hashtag podcast because I love the medium. I believe in it. I believe in what it is and what it represents, and Joe Rogan getting $100 million. I love the whole aspect of it, that sometimes if you're bored, you can just sit and listen to a crime podcast or listen to a long-form interview with this person or laugh your ass off with that podcast. So the medium is great. You guys have supported it, and you understand the value of it, and we're a small fixture in the formula, and it's great. But I do want to let you laugh and leave on this funny note. We got a review the other day, and most of our reviews, we're a 4.6, which is really good, which means that we got like 95% 5 stars, 1 rating, and then we got this one, which is still 5-star, but it was hilarious at the highest level because it said this: 5-star podcast, and it's from Peter. He said, keep the language clean. When you have explicit content, I don't listen to the Tiger talk. Your choice. Well, Peter, I got something for you. We love that you listen, and that's great. But if you don't like the cussing, you got a fucking problem, okay? Because we've recorded 3,000 podcasts, and 2,974 of them are marked E. Go back and look. Okay, so we're passionate. I can't not do it. All right, you listen to Tigers Talk because Vito and I make fun of each other, and he calls me stupid, and I call him short, and we cuss because 99.9% of sports fans, when something stupid happens with the Tigers, they're like, "What the fuck?" And they cuss and their emotion. We broadcast to this medium because of it. And I'm sorry if you don't like it, but we're gonna fucking do it. And I'm sorry, we're not gonna bleep it. We're not gonna censor ourselves. Thank you for the review, but get the fuck out of here with that, man. We're explicit from day one, and that's my response to it. Sorry. Was
Vito fired up or what?
I didn't tell him about it yet, but I just was laughing. I'm like, we've been E and got sponsors. I mean, literally. And all we do is cuss. We're not really that vile. We make crude jokes, but we just cuss. It's not that big a deal anymore. It's 2020, bro. Howard Stern is doing interviews with Hillary Clinton on one show, and the next show he's talking about digitally penetrating his wife and trying to get, it's like, come on. Let's be adults here. You hear a cuss word, we'll try our best. 99% of the time, the shows are E. And if I miss one, sorry, sue me. I got 4 jobs. All right, but at the same time, if you hear a cuss word and your kid hears it, just say, look, they're bad guys, and move on with it. All right, we're not changing it. It was classic to read that review. It's right there for all to see, Peter. Keep the language clean, huh, cuz? That's never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. I'm sorry. Whatever it may be, whatever it costs us, but it's funny, and we're open book here. We share it. It's funny. Thank you for the reviews. Go subscribe. Let us know how you feel, good, bad, or indifferent. We might even read your review and get you over. Follow Adam on Twitter at AdamRSTROZ. Follow the network at Detroit Podcast. Dude is so rich, he said we're going to have a fantasy league and double the price. I can pay it. You can pay it. He got himself a nice blinged out trophy. Because, remember,
I got you a nice blinged out trophy, so when you win it for the first time.
Yeah, okay, just because you're rich, don't raise it up too much more, okay? The rest of us got to keep working and get more jobs to pay all these bills.
Look,
right.
I give you till Thanksgiving. All right.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Till Thanksgiving, you can make payments.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yes, I'm not paying it till Thanksgiving. That's right.
$5 every month.
Well, I do have an excuse because I need some support. I passed 10 years with the wife, so you know what her anniversary present was?
What?
A $3,100 painting bill, painting the whole house. So she's like, you don't have to.
Obviously, you hired somebody because I don't even know if you know how to mix paint.
Yeah.
Take a brush and
exactly.
Stroke the wall with it.
So she said, okay, good. You're doing this, you're doing that. Time away, all the broadcasting, sports, great. She's gonna take a percentage of all the profits I have. So when you saw that Facebook post, when I put and more, I was serious.
Yeah. taking all of it.
She's taking all of it. So the house is going to look nice, though. It's going to, when you got kids, what will happen is they mess up things. But now they're 8 and 6, so they can be a little bit more, a little bit more kind with their actions. So we're painting the whole house, new colors. She wants it, after 10 years. And cuz I'm pretty domineering with everything. She's like, it's been your house for 15 years. I fought her tooth and nail to change anything. And so after 10 years, I said, okay, you earned it, whatever you want. She's like, really? Starting with painting, eventually going to get to the kitchen, eventually going to get to the basement. She saw the savings account and she's going to drain it. And so pray for me. So if one day you come on, you're like, you're not as energetic. Yeah, it's because I'm going to get hit in 3 weeks with a massive quarterly tax bill and the wife is remodeling. So you might see like 50 articles posted one day with even just a tweet on there because I got to figure out how to pay for this all. Pray for me, cuz I just need support. The wife is spending and is going to put me in the poorhouse.
I'm praying for you, bro.
Pray. All right. Follow Adam on Twitter. A great follow. Make sure you follow the network at Detroit Podcast. I always love broadcasting with my cousin because we're nearing 400. I can't wait. 200 was awesome. 300 was a classic celebration. We are nearing 400 of these, and it's every Thursday. Come hell or high water, we'll figure it out, even if it's a 5-minute one. Thursdays are reserved for Doc and Jock, or we got a fucking problem. Peace out.